idea. So what is the idea? It starts with a vision, means there are some people, so we have to identify what are their, what who are our target people, who are our target customers, and what are their needs and the pains. So every customer has their need, they have their own pains. Sometimes customer may know about their needs, they may not know about their needs. Sometimes you just observe that, sometimes you just they just tell you your problems and the needs. Sometimes you just observe them. Sometimes there is the customer has no idea about them, but there is a new product which is going to solve their known problems as well. Then you need to have vision how you are going to solve your problem, how you are going to solve the needs and the pains of the peoples. So you may have developed this, right? Sometime often develop this, and we have seen this in our previous chart that 42% of the startups fail just because they are not producing the right startup, right product, while the customer may want and something else. So we are giving them something which is they are not requesting. So that is one of the reason why the one of the major reason why the startups are failing nowadays. So how is lean startup gonna help us? What is a lean startup? So it helps us to understand, to answer two critical questions. One, should we build this new product or services, or how can we increase our odds of success? Because as we have discussed in the previous video, the market is very uncertain nowadays. That there are new products, new technologies coming every single day. New startups run up with their new products. Some of the startups are offering exactly the same product services, but maybe a slightly different ideas, slightly different value propositions. For take an example of the automatic video, there are tons of websites, SEOs, website making tools, there are tons of them. Hosting services, there are tons of them offering almost the same prices, almost the same services. How you're going to choose them? So how they are surviving against each other with huge marketing budgets, with slightly differentiating of services, playing on the tricks on the prices. So there are many cutthroat competitions. So none of them may be able to succeed, or all of them may be succeed because the market is still big. How do we know that? So the lean startup will help us to understand all of these questions and answer them before we go deep into the investments. It often happens that the startups start investing too much of money without understanding, without going to the customers, and by the time they have the products, they may be customers, they may have some customers, but it may not be enough to scale up. It may not be enough to make the money, it may not be enough to generate the enough revenue which they estimated, or how on based on the valuations that the startup was funded. There are many cases, numerous cases, where the startups live up to the hype. The product was great, the service was great, there were customers, but it just didn't able to excel, or didn't able to scale up to the required ratio, and all the money was wasted. So, for example, we can take an example of the lean startup where there were two startups here offering the similar things, Webvan and Instacart. So when Webvan started, they put up they started up with the refrigerated warehouse. They hired a lot of people, 4,500 people. They had a delivery fee which was 4.95, and then they were doing the market in 10 metro areas. Their venture capital invested $440 million on this startup, and the startup failed. In 2014, the similar startup work, Instacart, they didn't spend in the warehouse. They used existing supermarkets as for their storage. So they didn't build on. So there was no cost. Only 110 employees, so ultra efficient. They use courier services instead of hiring their own peoples, and the delivery fee was very reasonable, lower than the market, but they scaled up very fast. They were suffering for 15 metro areas, so they were successful. So the reason why one was not successful, one was successful, is because it doesn't mean that there was no demand. The demand was there, but however, when they just went on to scale too fast without understanding the market, put on too many fixed overheads, were not able to generate enough profit. That's why this failed. While Instagram stayed lean, stayed asset light, not much investment on the refrigerated warehouse, not much investment on the labor, delivery fee was lower, market was higher market, so the company was succeeded. So this is just one example how the lean startups can help your product to grow or to sustain the business or scale it up in the operations. So that was one introductory example. There are other examples of the lean which are businesses which are using the lean principles. For example, maybe you have recognized this logo by the time now. It's a Dropbox logo. So how the Dropbox was succeeded? Dropbox started its a screencast of its services and put it up on for the customer feedbacks. So the customer feedbacks were able to tell them how to develop their product, what are the drawbacks, and what are the features they like. So they were able to improve the services. Now Dropbox has over 500 million subscribers, users of their services. It's a highly successful business, but started lean. Then there is a Zappos. Zappos is an online shoe shopping. So who might have thought that the shoe can be bought online? So to test out the market, what the founders did, they took the pictures instead of building up the big warehouses, instead of spending too much money on the product or to build the app, to build the websites. What they did, they took the picture of the existing shoes in the market, put up on a small website, a working website, and then built around the customers. So if the customers order, they go and personally deliver the shoes. So what benefit they had? They were able to get a direct feedback from the customers. And once they got enough customer base, when they were not able to deliver the by themselves, means the business was scaling high. They developed the product and launched it. Now it's a highly successful business again. GE is not a startup. GE is an established company, but they follow lean principles to develop new products, to develop then they have a startup economy there. They have a startup environment there, which is called Fastworks, to develop new designs, new products, and it enhanced to fasten the speed of their products. By a survey, they were able to develop the product and launch them 2 years ahead of their original estimated time with 40% less cost. So these are the examples, some of the examples of the real life, what how they are using the lean principles, and they are still successful. So lean principles are not used only by the startups, they are also used by the manufacturing companies. So how the lean principle is coming, we're gonna learn in the future. Thank you very much. Stay tuned.